No, that's Revelation. Revelation.
First and the last, then Melchizedek you should worship.
No.
You worship Melchizedek?
Melchizedek never said that. That is a Jewish way of applying the fact that no one knew when he began and when he ended. That has nothing to do with him being the actual first and the last.
Wait a minute. It says, like the Son of God. So
Many people are called Son of God. David is called Son of God.
If you're going to use Melchizedek as an example of nobody knew when he began and when he ended, then why does it say like the Son of God? It's the same, Hebrews 7:3. It's the same passage. Do you not know the passage?
Melchizedek.
Hold up.
Many people are called Son of God. David is called Son of God.
If you're going to use Melchizedek as an example of nobody knew when he began and when he ended, then why does it say like the Son of God?
What do you mean? What's that got to do with it?
It's the same, Hebrews 7:3.
What do you mean? Why is Melchizedek likened to Jesus and Jesus likened to himself?
Yes, sorry, I meant it that way. Why is Melchizedek likened unto Jesus Christ?
I know, it's like asking me, why is Israel likened to Jesus? Why is Jonah likened to Jesus? Why is Moses likened to Jesus? Why is the bronze serpent likened to Jesus? Why is David likened to Jesus?
Why does the Bible refer that Jesus is of the order of Melchizedek?
Because he's not of the order of Levi, right? And Aaron, because he's from the tribe of Judah. Can you be a priest on earth officiating in the temple if you're not a son of Aaron from the tribe of Levi? No. Numbers chapter 3, verses 5 to 10. But then if Jesus is from the tribe of Levi, can he become the king of the Jews? No, because kingship belongs to the tribe of Judah through the line of David.
Okay.
So how can Jesus be a king on earth in the order of Aaron when Aaron is from the tribe of Levi, and yet be the king of Israel? When to be the king of Israel, he must be from the tribe of Judah through the line of David. So he is the king of Israel from David's line, from the tribe of Judah, and he is a priest, but of a different line, a different order, that of Melchizedek. Why Melchizedek? Because God was preparing the Jews, the Israelites, for a priest from a different tribe, so that when Jesus comes and does priestly work, they can't condemn him saying, you're in violation of the law, because the law, you have to be of Levi and the line of Aaron, and you're not. How dare you break the law of Moses? You are a false prophet. God already destroyed an argument in two ways. He had Abraham meet Melchizedek, and Melchizedek was honored by Abraham, their ancestor, where Abraham acknowledged Melchizedek as greater than him and as a true priest of the same God that Abraham worshiped. And then he comes along in the Psalm of David and then mentions that the king from David's line would be in the order of Melchizedek. By mentioning those two facts in the Old Testament, he then left the Jews with no excuse in rejecting Jesus as the king of Israel from David's line and a priest, though he's not a Levite, because they already prepared them for that in the Old Testament. So what's your excuse?
Wow.
Right? Now, how are they going to object? I'm a priest in the order of Melchizedek. No, you're not. Wait, doesn't Psalm 110:4 say that I, the king of Zion, from the line of Judah, line of David, am a priest in the order of Melchizedek? Yes. So what do you mean, no, I'm not? Are you saying the Old Testament's wrong? So God flips it back on them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's go back to the story of Melchizedek in Genesis 14:18-20. How did God design the story of Melchizedek to be a picture of Christ so that the Jews would have no excuse rejecting Jesus as priest and king? Well, very simple. Melchizedek in Hebrew means king of righteousness. Melcha, Zadik. That's Zadok, righteousness. But he's also Melcha Shalem, king of Salem. Shalem comes from the same root as Shalom, meaning peace. So already in the names, there's a picture of Christ. Here's the king of righteousness, who's the king of peace. Then on top of that, what does he give to Abraham as an act of worship? Bread and wine. What does Jesus give his disciples? Bread and wine.
Wow.
Right?
Yep.
And then another thing God does, Melchizedek appears out of nowhere and disappears. He appears out of nowhere and disappears. In other words, we're not told his ancestry. We're not told whose parents are. We're not told if he has descendants. We're not told if he dies. All of those details are omitted. He appears mysteriously, vanishes mysteriously, and only appears one other time in a book written by David about 400 years after Moses, Psalm 110:4. So God did it to blow the Jews' mind away. Who is this Melchizedek? Appears out of nowhere, disappears. We're not told his ancestry. We're not told if he has descendants. We're not told if he died. And then he's so great that David, 400 years later, mentions him in Psalm 110:4. What is it about this Melchizedek? Now, why did God do that? Because God depicted Melchizedek as if he had no beginning, no end. Why? Because notice that when David mentions Melchizedek, it's 400 years after Moses wrote about him.
Yeah.
And he says, you are a priest forever in the order of Melchizedek, which assumes that Melchizedek's line or priesthood is still ongoing because it's still active, because David mentions it 400 years after Moses wrote about him, right? So then the Jews are really scratching that. How can Melchizedek have a priesthood that's still active when none of Melchizedek's descendants are among us, and none of his descendants are a priest in Jerusalem, because Jerusalem has been taken over by the Jews, and the temple that Solomon built have sons of Aaron officiating in it. So how is he still a priest, or how is his priesthood still ongoing? See, God did that to blow their minds away. So God portrays Melchizedek as having no beginning and no end, because his priesthood doesn't end. It's mentioned by David thousands years after Abraham, 400 years after Moses wrote about it, right?
Yeah.
But we know Melchizedek is not eternal, because if he's eternal, where is he reigning? Because he's not on earth anymore. And we know his descendants are not reigning on earth in Jerusalem as priests, because at that time, the temple was built by Solomon, and it was the priests of Aaron who were officiating in the temple in Jerusalem, none of Melchizedek's sons, and Solomon was king, not Melchizedek or his descendants. So what's going on here? Well, Hebrews tells you. He was deliberately portrayed as being without beginning and without ending, as an eternal figure, because he was a picture of the one who is eternal, the Son of God.
Okay.
Because Jesus is without beginning. Jesus is without end. And Jesus is eternal, who then became flesh to reign as the God-man. So Melchizedek was portrayed, depicted as being eternal with a never-ending priesthood, not because he's really eternal, but because he was portrayed as such, as a picture of the one who is eternal, the one that he points to, who is the reality, Jesus Christ.
Wow. That definitely lit up a light in my head.
Right? Because Jesus has no beginning. Hebrews 1 says he created everything and sustains everything, and he's unchangeable. And Jesus is a priest forever. And he's the one who's reigning as priest in heaven, not Melchizedek. So Melchizedek is not a priest in heaven. He's not a priest on earth. He wasn't reigning as king, nor did his descendants reign as king after him, nor did his descendants officiate as a priest in Jerusalem. Because when David came around, he became king of the Jerusalem. And then Solomon built the temple in Jerusalem. So what's going on with Melchizedek? Why mention him? And where is he? He's not on earth. Well, he's not in heaven. None of his descendants are. God, what are you doing? God did that deliberately to point to Jesus.
That's deep.
And now let me give you the article on Melchizedek, and I guess we're done, brother. I wrote an article on Melchizedek. Ready?
Okay.
There we go. Take my articles, upload them, study them, memorize them, understand them, and use them and translate them if you want. So save these articles, and I'll put them in the description box. Doesn't the Bible also present Melchizedek as possessing divine attributes? That's the name of my title. And I answer no. Here you go. Here's the article on Melchizedek. He's not eternal, but he's a picture of the one who is eternal, Jesus Christ. Here it is. And here's it for you, brother. And I think your questions are over with, right?
But Alpha and Omega
I can use the same
means he is
example.
the from all eternity and to
Alpha
all
and Omega
future.
is an idiom that
Yes.
the Greeks used to use.
Yes, it was a
doesn't
divine
mean literally.
title.
It doesn't mean literally.
That means that Allah is the first and the last.
Ministry or something like that. See, I could use the same.
Have you read Revelations?
I have read.
Okay, so you know it's clearly a apocalyptic, very high Christology, where it describes Christ sitting on the throne.
John
It says that Christ sits on the throne.
Revelation is more like symbolic. Like God